Let's read 1 Corinthians 13:11 together. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish ways behind me. Translation, I started acting my age. And I love the transition. It's how he spoke and how he thought and how he reasoned. And that's what Debbie and I have been talking about. Women, underneath that passage where it says, when I became a man, just put, when I became a woman. Okay? When I became mature, I put childish ways behind me. And the only way to do that is how Debbie was talking about. You got to take an honest look in the mirror. You got to be courageous enough to look at yourself and go, all right, I'm not just going to be in denial and walk away from the parts of myself that are ruining my life and other people's lives. How do I get change in that area? You see, God evaluates leaders not by the externals, but by character. We learned that when Debbie was talking about how Samuel was looking for a king, and God confronted and corrected him and says, I don't look at the way you look at it. I'm not a first impression guy. I look on the inside. And the same was true when he selected David to be king. Look at the last verse on your outline. Let's read that together. After removing Saul, he made David their king. He testified concerning him, I have found David, son of Jesse, a man after my own heart. He will do everything I want him to do. Circle a man after my own heart. We see the connection between a strong hope and the willingness to discipline ourselves in the direction of our strongest hope. Now, men, we know this. When we were trying to conquer the woman in our lives, we disciplined ourselves in the direction of that strong hope of being with her by sending flowers, pretending to listen, saying things we would never normally say in front of other guys. But we disciplined ourselves to do that because the hope was, I want to be with her. Okay? In business, we know this, guys, where if we want the bonus or the deal or the contract to transact, we got to smile and dial, we got to send emails, we got to make phone calls, we have to follow up. So we disciplined ourselves in the strong hope of getting a paycheck. We show up. Now, if our desire is to please God, if He is really our hope, and we want to please Him with our lives and tell Him thank you by how we live it, we will, like David, make the changes He is asking us to make. I love what God says. He will do everything I want Him to do. Well, what does God want you to do? Does He want you to chase something externally? No. He wants you to become like Christ. That's why I wrote the book Dream for Men. That's God's dream for us, men. It's not something we chase. It's somebody that we become, and then from the inside out, we project the character of Christ onto the people in the world around us. So what's our action step? Under friendship, we said get into healthy Christ-centered friendships. For winning personal change, it's get healthy. And Pastor Rick is putting this series right before the Life's Healing Choices campaign because he wants us to be in this process of getting personally healthier. That's where we're going to continue.